Hey there folks, thanks for tuning in for another video review. I have meant to do this review for the last couple months, but of course, as you know, I just moved and I honestly just forgot to do this review. I had some other products come in like the jewelry and some cosplay items and this and that, and I just completely forgot to do this review. But anyway, here is the item. It is the Han Solo in Carbonite Collector's Gallery statue in 1/8 scale by Gentle Giant Collectibles. If you take a look at my channel, or if you've been around my channel for some time, you'll know I am a huge fan of Gentle Giant. I used to collect all their mini busts, or as best as I can, try to collect all of them. Of course, there were plenty of mini busts that I either haven't been able to collect because of cost, or they were old pieces. Either way, I actually ended up selling all of my mini busts because of the space that I needed for it and I didn't have for it, and I'd rather have a few large statues than a million small mini busts. And even with that, there were a lot of characters that weren't being produced or that I just couldn't get a hold of to make essentially a complete collection. So it was kind of getting on my nerves that I couldn't complete it no matter what I tried. Anyway, there are still some fantastic pieces being put out by Gentle Giant, and as you all know, they were bought out by Diamond Select Toys, so they are just coming out full force with new products, new lines, and continuing their old great products too. And one of those is the 1/8 scale Collector's Gallery statue, which we do have right in front of us. Now, before picking this specific one up, I looked at the Sideshow 1/6 scale Han in Carbonite, and I believe there was another Han in Carbonite similar to both of these. I can't recall who made it or what exactly it was, but the Han in Carbonite one, the big thing that threw me off was the way that the weird stand in the back kind of held up Han. It was supposed to be a magnet, but I guess a lot of people's magnets weren't working, so they had to kind of lean the hand up against it, and it just kind of made me wary about it falling and breaking or just not really being a good display piece. That's one thing I liked about this one, was that the actual hand in Carbonite is attached to the base, and overall it is a pretty large piece and a pretty weighted piece as well. I had looked at some other reviews beforehand and I honestly thought this was going to be a lot smaller than what I was given, but it's not a bad size. 1/8 scale I think is a really great size for something like this. Of course, I think I would prefer a 1/6 scale or even the Kotobukiya 1/7 scale, but 1/8 scale isn't that bad for people that are trying to conserve space or just don't have that much space but still want something amazing like this one. Let me go ahead and take a measurement of the height just so you have an idea of how big this actually is. So from the very bottom to the top is just about 12 inches. And if we just measure Han, that piece is about 10 and a quarter inches. So it's a pretty good size. And let me go from the width also. At the base, it measures 6 inches, and Han at the widest point is about 4 1/4 or 4 1/3 inches wide. As for the weight, let me go ahead and get the scale out really quick. And this comes in at 3 pounds and 10.5 ounces. So it is a pretty good weight to this piece. Before I get into some more details about Han and Carbonite, let's take a quick look at the box. And here we go. Here's the box. I can't fit the entire thing in my screen, but like all Gentle Giant pieces, it just shows Han and Carbonite right there. So what you are getting: Star Wars, Han Solo and Carbonite, Collector's Gallery 1/8 scale statue, the Gentle Giant logos, and the Diamond Select logo. Another picture there. And on the back, we have an actual image of Han in Carbonite from The Empire Strikes Back, and a little bio about him at that moment and the piece itself, so you can pause it to read it. This is limited to 2,000 pieces, and I was given number 323 out of 2,000, and it did come with the COA as usual, again with matching numbers and the same information on the card. Let's go ahead and get a closer look at this piece and look at all the finer details. Before I get a little bit closer, let me turn off the lights because I do have some lights on right now, and this is in natural lighting, and I think I'll leave the lights off for this part because my hands will probably block the lights anyway. So here is a close-up on the face. Just a fantastic sculpt on this. The hands, all the wrinkles from the shirt. If I recall, let me take a look at the box real quick. I don't remember his hands being out that much, but I could be wrong. yeah, I guess his hands were out quite a bit more. Of course, not his entire body, but his hands were sticking out a little bit. I love all the detail, and everything is sculpted in and painted so well. I love all that in there. You got the pants. The feet is always, or the calves and shins, I should say, is where it really got covered by the Carbonite. A look from this side. And I love the base too. It really recreates that moment on Bespin when he does get, actually not Bespin, I'm sorry, this isn't that scene. They're actually recreating the scene when he's in Jabba's palace, which is interesting because the scene on the back of the box is from Jabba's palace? I'm not quite sure. Someone needs to correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the scene from Jabba's palace when he's hanging on display? Because I could have sworn this is pretty much his display moment when the light is shining on him. And I can't tell from the back if that's supposed to be... I'm pretty sure it's not Bespin. I could be wrong. Or Cloud City, I should say. But yeah, either way, I love this base because if it is the display, that's really irritating me right now. Of course, I'm doing this on my review, but either way, I love the display and the base. It adds some nice character and color to the pretty much gray piece. And even the grays, don't get me wrong, you can see the different shades of gray between the actual housing block unit and where he is frozen. And even in the hair, there's a little bit of white and silver and gray. So everything just looks great. They did a really great job on the paint. And I think we are well aware of the hit or miss of the face sculpts when it comes to not just Gentle Giant pieces, but any action figure or statue. And granted, this is hand in Carbonite, so you don't have all the details, but damn, this looks pretty darn good. I mean, all the details are amazing on here. I am pretty happy with that. Let me go ahead and flip this around. Now, one thing I did like about the Sideshow when I was looking at reviews and the Gentle Giant does not have are the lights on here. But at the end of the day, I mean, when this is displayed, you really don't see that many lights anyway because they're on the side of it and you really don't get that much out of it. So it's not a big deal, but no, I think it would have been a nice feature to add. And all the little details I just absolutely love when it comes to pieces like this. Maybe if they had painted this like red and green, that would have been nice, but again, not a huge deal. And they made sure not to skip any details on the back. Small details, but kind of reminds me of the Beskar issue. A lot of prop makers who make the Beskar from The Mandalorian, there's those two little lines that go in the back, and so many people either don't put it or they put it on the wrong, like the top or the bottom. So something as small as that really makes a difference. And then there are some details on the top as well. And then the bottom, I think, just has, yeah, the same information as all Gentle Giant pieces. And as you see, this is all attached as one piece. I don't have to worry about picking up from the bottom and this detaching. So the base is attached pretty well by these steel rods. And I'm pretty sure these go all the way to the top. And it does look like there is some detail sculpted on the bottom too, even though we can't see it. I applaud Gentle Giant or even any company for adding the details that you really can't see. But I love when companies add those details that you can't even see it, but it's still there. Even like here, I just noticed there are these little bars that are sticking out. I bet you 99.9% of people who have these pieces, either from Sideshow or Gentle Giant, wouldn't even notice if these were gone. And I'm not even sure if Sideshow's has that because I obviously didn't pay attention when I looked at the reviews. All right, folks, so that is about it. Let me get one more shot of the piece with the lights on just so you have another idea of how this looks and a little close-up of it. As always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. I am pretty sure Gentle Giant still has this available on their website, so I will link it in the description below. Thank you again for watching. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for the next video.